Welcome, or welcome back to Calm&Christ, and thank you for joining me today. A few people have asked me why I say, be salty, stay lit, at the end of each podcast. Well, firstly, because I think it's fun and funny, and hopefully it's better than, until next time. But also, because I link it to a very powerful experience that I had when I was a young adult. I grew up Catholic and went to church every Sunday. But there are only a couple of times in my early life where I can say that I walked away from church changed or touched by the experience in some way. One such experience was actually at a Presbyterian church several years ago. I was there for a friend's child's baptism. I remember how nervous I was going to a church other than a Catholic church. I felt like I was somehow cheating. Isn't that silly? But I remember how the entire service, from the initial greetings to the music, was so different from what I was used to. And most importantly, I still remember that the preacher spoke on Matthew, the salt and the light. To be honest, I can't remember exactly what he said, but I can tell you that that sermon was one of the few that I ever remembered. I had never heard the Bible taught that way, and it was as if I was actually touched by God somehow during that sermon. So that passage has always held a close place in my heart. Hence, be salty, stay lit. So what is it about that passage? Well, for me, I think it's the hope that shines brightly through this passage. Pun intended. It's a directive for us to do the work of God, being the salt. It's by doing that we become the light for others. When we show our love and faith in God, others see that light coming from us. But it's not just that. I believe this passage also has a double meaning, as God's love is our light, our hope, especially in times of darkness and struggle. To quote the song I'll be linking at the end, "There's a light made of heaven, and its fire burns in me." God's love is our light, so that we can turn around and shine that light to others. Now, I could go on for ages, but let's just read the passage from Matthew 5. "You are the salt of the earth, but if salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Now, I'd like to guide you through a reflective time. As always, if you're able, close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Let go of the tensions and stress of the day. Imagine yourself on a solo hike and camping trip. It's something you've always wanted to do, and you thought, no time like the present. As you're hiking through the woods, you notice it's getting later and later into the evening. You start looking for a place to camp. It's getting darker at every step, so you reach to your backpack and you pull out a flashlight and snap it on. Uh-oh, it's really dim. You must have forgotten to charge the batteries. Your heart rate picks up with your footsteps, and you move faster to find that place to camp. Just as your battery is about to completely die, you step out into a clearing. There's a small bit of reprieve on the darkness, as the lack of trees lets a bit more of the setting sun in. You decide to hurry up and set up camp before all the light is gone. But, first things first, you gotta make a fire. You remember a saying from Jesus. You don't light a lamp and put it under a bowl. You put it on a stand, so it will light up the house. After you have the fire lit, your tent set up, and you're finally able to relax. You sit and sip on a cup of fire-brewed joe. But then you hear a sound coming from the woods. The rustling sounds like it's footsteps coming toward you. Just then, a figure pops out, and instantly, Oddly, you immediately recognize the face. It's Jesus. He comes towards you and says,
"Don't be afraid. I'm here."
God's light is our hope, especially in times of darkness. Take this time to talk to God. Let Him know where you need the light of His love and hope in your life right now. Heavenly Father, thank you for the light of your love. With your love, we know that night holds no darkness. Help us see the ways we can be salty and how we can share your light with others so that they too can bathe in the light of your love. We ask you to help us always see the light of your love through all the dark and stormy times in our own lives. And we ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Thank you for joining me today. I have paired the song Chariot by Hillsong United. They have two great versions of the song. I've linked the version from their Two Palms session in the description or show notes below, but you should also check out the other version for a different vibe. Until next time, be salty, stay lit.